All right, welcome back to another episode of Corona Geek. This is number 23 of Corona Geek here on Google Plus. This is the original weekly hangout devoted to mobile app development using the Corona SDK. I'm joined today in the studio by a whole host of brain power here. I guess going from left to right, at least my left to right, is Brent Sorrento. Sorrentino. I know. See, I knew that I was going to do that wrong. I tell you what I'm going to do. I am purposely going to mispronounce people's name every show. That way, I'll just be consistent. Next to him, we got Brian Burton down in Abilene, Texas. Say hello, Brian.
Hello.
We got a little bit of a delay today, so that's going to make things interesting. I'm, of course, Charles McKeever, Corona Geek, and then on our right, far right, is Stian Sones, who is in Sweden.
Yeah.
Say hello.
Hi.
Say hello. So Stian's going to talk with us. He's from 10 Fingers, and he's going to talk with us about Corona Paper today. And the great things that they're doing there with that digital magazine that's completely dedicated to the Corona SDK. It's a fantastic resource. So we're going to talk more about that in just a little bit. And Brent is going to talk with us about Global Game Jam. And so we're going to talk all about that one day, well, not one day, that one time a year, 2-day programming extravaganza. That's going to be fantastic. So we'll get to that in just a little bit. So thanks, guys. Thanks for being on the show here. I know, Stian, thank you for taking time. I know it's very late there, and appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, it's 9 o'clock now. So.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. That is the joy and the curse of the Google Hangouts is we can get everybody together from around the world, but that somebody always gets the short straw. so thanks for drawing that and being a good spirit about that. So okay, let's go through and talk about what we're going to talk about. So essentially, today's agenda is we've got a few announcements that we need to go through. We've got lots of information in today's show, and so we're going to need to move sort of quickly. We're going to talk a little bit about the Corona build notes, look at some blog highlights. We've got some geek talkers. Like I said, we've got Corona Paper and Global Game Jam to talk about. We've got some things, some cute community things that we want to talk about. Some app reviews that I need to tell you, upcoming app reviews I need to tell you about, and some events that we need to let everybody know about. It's like I said, it's a lot of stuff going on in today's show, so hang on and keep your hands and arms inside the ride at all times. All right. So 4 announcements, and these are, I'm going to just say out loud, I'm going to do a lot of talking, but this is a panel. This is an open discussion. So if you guys have an announcement or something that you want to throw in, please do, okay? So I know, Brent, I know you've got a lot of stuff about the Global Game Jam information there. So if something happens that I don't mention or whatever, please throw in and let me know, okay? The first thing that we've got going on here is last week's app of the week was Fun Run, and that app hit number 3 in the App Store behind Google Maps, which yeah.
Wow.
That's pretty nice.
That is pretty nice. I thought that was amazing, considering the fact that Google is, the Google Maps is probably the most sought after app in recent history, right? I mean, it's amazing.
It works.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So to draft, basically to draft behind Google Maps at number 3 is phenomenal. So congratulations to those guys for doing that. As far as other things in the community, there are some events coming up that you need to know about, and let's go down those quickly. In Torino, Italy, and I may be saying that improperly.
No, you got that one right.
Did I get that one right? Awesome. Yes. There's going to be a big event there tomorrow. I know it's on the list as possibly a meetup, but I think it's even bigger than that. And you can find all of these events at coronalabs.com. It's on the homepage. There's a whole listing there that you can get those. But tomorrow, Alessandro Grigante, I hope I said that correctly, is going to be presenting on the Corona SDK. He's going to be doing a presentation on game development and app development using the Corona SDK. So that's going to be a great thing. He's a Corona ambassador. And so he's going to be there representing. On the 16th, there is the Society of Illustrators in New York. They are having an event, and they're going to be talking about, basically putting together art and things like that for children's books and using the Corona SDK. The 17th there's going to be a meetup in Raleigh, North Carolina, and that's going to be mobile app game developers meetup, and that's put together by Rob Miracle and Jake Scarano. I'm going to say that. Jake, if you're watching, send me a phonetic of your name so I know. But he and Rob are putting that together, and that's going to be a good meetup there. So if you're in that area, be sure to attend those. Also, if you're not in the area, if you need to be, you need to attend an event and you can't physically be there, there are some online events that are happening as well that you might want to know about. Alex from Quickshare, he is offering 3 webinars to help people learn the basics of Quick. So if you're not familiar with Quick, check it out at quickshare.com. But basically, it's a tool that allows you to be able to create mobile applications without having to do really any programming. It creates a Corona SDK app, but you use everything visually, and you use Photoshop to do that. So he's going to be doing some webinars on the 16th and 17th. And all of the webinars in January are in English. So if you want to do a Spanish webinar or a Brazilian Portuguese webinar, those are available upon request, a minimum of 10 people. But if you can pull those together, you want to go ahead and just go over to quickshare.com and contact Alex, and he will put that together for you and get you worked out. Corona Paper is also got some news going on. They are working on the layout for issue number 3.
Indeed we are.
Which I think is fantastic. Now, I've had a chance to go through issue number 1, and we'll talk more about this in a minute, but I've had an opportunity to go through issue number 1, and I literally consumed every bit of it, every page, every line. It was great. I really enjoyed it, and I'll talk more about that in a minute, but I really enjoyed it. I haven't had a chance to do issue number 2. But
it's not out yet.
Okay, good, because I thought I had missed something.
That would be why.
That would be why.
There you go.
Note to self. I thought I had missed something, and I was kind of sad because I was like, "Oh man, issue 3 has already been worked on, and I haven't even read issue 2." So good. Okay, good. When is issue 2 going to come out?
It's coming out the 31st of January.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, good. We definitely want to remind everybody about that then, because I can't say enough good things about it, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. So, Brian, you're still doing your book promotion, right? Until the 31st.
Yes. Until the end of the month, I'm gonna continue discounting all the Corona books by $5. That's the Portuguese version, the mobile computing, and the textbook that's beginning mobile app development. And I've also discounted it on the part 1 on Amazon. And this last week, we hit the top 100 for game programming list on Amazon. So that was really exciting.
Awesome. Fantastic. Yeah, anytime that you can hit the top anything list on Amazon, I imagine is a good thing, right?
Yes. So it's discounted by $5. The part 1 is discounted by $5, which makes it 50% off on Amazon. And then Amazon discounted book 2 by another, I think, $2. So you can end up saving a total of $7 on the textbook, or on the book, not the textbook, on Amazon. And so be able to save a little bit of money.
Now that's free shipping on all that, right?
Yeah, free shipping on all of this. This is all digital books, so you're sending it through the internet. It's out there. I'm getting great reviews from a lot of people that they're very happy with it. And it's part of my little effort to help people keep their New Year's resolution to make lots of great apps with Corona SDK.
Yeah. So if you're interested in that, you'll need to go. Where do they need to go, Brian?
They can go either to Amazon and search on mobile app development with Corona, or just search on Corona, or they can go to my website, burtonsmediagroup.com, and there's a link to the books, all of them, through there.
Okay. Now,
and of course, we'll have links in the show notes.
Yeah, we'll definitely have links in the show notes, and if you go to Brian's website, you'll want to use the promo code Corona Geek, at checkout
Yes.
to apply your discount. So you'll definitely want to be sure to do that. And like I said, we'll have links to that and instructions and everything in the show notes. Awesome. So the other point of business here is recently we sent an email out to the ambassadors. So everybody who's on the ambassador list should have received an email letting them know kind of what was going on, giving them a heads up of the road ahead. And so if you think you're an ambassador and you have not received an email, then you're going to want to contact
either you're not an ambassador really,
yeah,
or you need to talk to Charles.
yes. Send an email to coronageek@coronalabs.com and let me know that you did not get that email, and let's get that worked out because we want to get everybody ramped up and mobilized for 2013. So I'm basically going to be going through and contacting each ambassador personally and trying to find out what it is that they're doing and what it is that they need from us. So you guys know that in 2013 we're going to be all about getting things done, and so look for an email from me. And I know that Brent's been working with ambassadors and stuff like that. So we're all about helping you guys out and getting some of these events up and running and organized and going. Global Game Jam is coming up on January 25th and 27th. So Brent, you're going to be where? You're going to be at the Denver one, correct?
Yeah, I'm going to the Denver one.
Okay. And then I'm going to go to the San Francisco one. So I'm going to live blog from there and take pictures and all that good stuff.
All right.
Yeah, that's going to be cool. So if you go to a Global Game Jam and if you're there with you create a team and do Corona or anything like that, send us pictures. We want to post those and things like that. So
yeah, exactly.
And then on February 27th, and this is a little bit out, but I kind of want to give everybody some lead time and stuff. Apps World in San Francisco is going to take place, and we're going to be there as well. So Walter's going to be talking, David's going to be talking. We're going to have a booth there, and then I'm going to be there live blogging from the event as well. So we're going to have lots of coverage at that event. So if you're going to be there, let me know, because I would love to meet up with you and maybe do some video and some things like that. So I want to talk with you and share that with everybody else. Okay, let's talk about the real quick the latest build notes. Now, Brian, I went over the build notes and I saw that there was a lot of bug fixes and things like that. And
yeah, it was mainly just bug fixes this time for the last week. But the exciting thing is we're over 1,000 now.
Yeah, that is.
We topped the build 1,000, and anybody that's done a lot of software development, that is a huge milestone. That's kind of like episode 100 on TV shows.
Right.
This is exciting. This is a big deal.
Well, I'll tell you what, 1,000 of anything is a big deal. So yeah.
Yes.
So congratulations to the development team for putting that out and being on top of that on a regular basis. I know that means, for the developers out there, it means that there's always something cutting edge, something new, something, it's the platform's being pushed forward.
Yeah, and I read through the build notes for the last week or two, and it is all just simply small bug fixes that before the next major release. It's getting better and better, fewer problems as you go along. It's very exciting.
Yeah, exactly. And I've seen some conversations as to whether or not people think they should use, they should constantly use the latest daily build. And I think that, I don't know, what do you guys think about that? I think,
if you're a professional developer, I don't know how you can ignore the daily builds because there's just so many great features in it. If you're still on the trial version, of course, you're stuck with the last public release. And the last public release is good, solid development tool. But as a professional developer, I'm downloading it 2 or 3 times a week at least.
Yeah. Brent, what do you think?
Same deal. I mean, you have to understand that, with a daily build, there's potentially going to be something that doesn't work, but that's just the nature of it. But you also get all the cutting edge features. So,
yeah,
kind of like pick your poison in a way. If you want the best, the latest and the greatest, get the daily build.
Yeah. A nice middle
The
ground.
build, Stable Rock, the public build.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
If you're a mobile app developer, you're already on the bleeding edge, so
Right,
just get
exactly.
used to bleeding and get the latest daily build.
Yeah.
well, a middle ground to that would be, and this is, I used to do .NET development, and it kind of, they didn't have daily builds, but they had, they had revision or releases, and you'd always have to. There'd always be something. So what I found to do was basically pick a build and use it, and that's your known good. And then if for whatever reason, if you have a reason to move forward on a build, you can always build against that and make sure that everything works for you the way that you want, and just do a little bit of testing. And then if it is, then move it forward. But you can pick a build, stay there, and not necessarily have to download every daily build. I mean, it's not just because it's there doesn't mean you have to use it. But
I kind of agree with you there.
Yeah, thank you.
Because, like, if there's no new features in like an upcoming build that's important to you, then just stick with the build you have because things are working. And then suddenly you download a new build and half your app is broken because something's changed that shouldn't be changed and stuff like that. So
yeah, it doesn't mean
I'll stick.
Well, and a lot of this is a difference in philosophy between working with Microsoft and working with Corona. Anybody who's had to call the Microsoft helpline, they're not always as responsive as what we might like as professional developers. With Corona, you send a tweet, you send an email, you've got a response usually that same day, if not the same day, within 24 hours, and they're working on the bug. It may not get fixed as quickly as we would like. As developers, we want it fixed instantly, but they are responsive. They do work on these bugs and try and get them resolved, and that's just the difference in philosophy between Corona as opposed to a major monopoly. Well, not monopoly. They got excluded from that, I guess, back in 2000. But a major
corporation,
software development company.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay.
And I want to emphasize, we're really working hard at it lately this year to just get those things addressed. I mean, we're managing the forums much better than ever before. Rob Miracle and myself are in there every day.
Job.
Looking
you
at
guys
stuff.
are doing a great job.
I think one of the coolest little things, a comment on the forum last week, somebody called us forum ninjas and said we're never too far away. So I thought that was a clever response there. So we're watching, we're out there, and we're really trying to ramp that up and bring these things to the attention of everybody. Of the engineering, the proper person on the engineering team gets notified of this stuff, so it's not just being shuffled into some long distant folder and forgotten. I mean, we get behind sometimes. It's a challenge to stay ahead all the time. But we're working a lot harder with that. So
yeah, it's amazing.
Want to make that known.
It's amazing. Just as a side note, since you mentioned it, it's amazing to be on the backside of things and to see how much communications and information is passed around internally. There is a lot of information sharing. I mean, you and Rob do a fantastic job of reaching out to the team and saying, okay, here's something that somebody's asking a question about, and the engineering team is great about replying to that. I mean, it's good to watch. I personally try to stay clear of the forums because you guys are doing such a great job. That I can eat bonbons and stuff and do other things. Okay, so let's see, where were we here? So yeah, the big build, I think, pick your build and then move forward as needed, and don't feel like you have to use the latest and greatest, but it's there. And and I don't know, if you right click on, at least on my machine, I don't know anybody else's machine, but if I right click on a file and say build, I can choose which build I want to use. So you can you can build against. It's not like when you were talking about Microsoft earlier. If Microsoft installs a framework, that's the framework you're using. You're on it. There's no going back without some amount of pain. But with Corona, you can just you can build against one or build against the other and not have to worry about it. So I like that. Okay, so that's that. That's the build notes. On the blog highlights, things from the blog. Addiction. Recently, there was a partnership between Corona Labs and Addiction, and so that's going to essentially be able to help developers market and promote their apps. And I think that's always a good thing because it seems like that's a topic that just keeps coming back around. So we're looking forward to that. I think if we have time, David Rangel's going to come on and maybe talk a little bit about that later. So if he pops in, that's pretty much going to be his baby to talk about. But there is more information about that on the Corona Labs website. So if you go to coronalabs.com, click on the blog there, you can see the announcement, and we'll have links in the show notes for it as well. Geek topics. So let's talk about Global Game Jam. Let's get to it, man. We've been yabbing.
Okay.
Let's talk about the good stuff. So tell us all about Global Game Jam. What do we need to know?
Okay, so some people have actually, it's been going for a few years now. I think it's in its 4th or 5th year. So some people have probably actually been to one if they're into gaming. Basically, it's like just a global gathering of gamers and people who like to work on games in some respect. They just come together for 48 hardcore hours to make a game, or just maybe just see what other people are making. You don't have to go there to make a game. You can just show up and mingle with people, talk to people, network, whatever you want to do. Let's see, it's not always apps. It's not always even video games. You can go and make an RPG pen and paper card game or something if you want. You can try to reinvent Magic the Gathering if you're that bold and you think you can do that in 48 hours. But probably not.
Pokemon Fist.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see, what else? Anything in specific? Any questions?
So where? Okay, this may be obvious, but it's a global game jam. So where does it take place? If it's global,
well, at last count, there's almost 300 locations around the world. So it's big. And that's basically almost in every country. I mean, you can go to the website and see. At the current time, the U.S. has the most venues, as might be expected. But coming in second place really strongly is Brazil. We're real proud of those guys down there. I mean, 22 locations in Brazil alone.
Wow.
That's pretty heavy. And then behind them, you got Canada. Japan's pretty big. And then Germany, it's probably coming in at number 5. Argentina has a bunch.
How's
so
Sweden doing?
It's everywhere. I haven't checked how many Sweden has, but I think Scandinavia is doing pretty well. I know several in Finland, so it's big. Almost 300, and probably it's going to top 300 in the next few days because there's some people coming in at the last minute to register a venue.
Okay, so to have a venue,
so it really isn't.
Oh, go ahead.
So it really is a really neat thing because I'm basically I'm a sponsor for the local Global Game Jam here, and it's pretty cool because you come together Friday, you eat, talk about game development, explain what the process of Global Jam is, and then teams self-select. Now you may come in with the team already, or just show up individually and go, hey, I want to work with somebody to develop a game idea. I got an idea. Team self-select, and then they go to work and on Friday night and don't really emerge again until Sunday night, and then everybody's presenting their games to the local group, and you get to upload what you've created to the Global Game Jam website. They talk about it, and it helps promote what you're creating. So if you've ever wanted to make a game, look for one of these locales and join a game group and create your own games.
Now, you mentioned kind of it sounds like you kind of have a structure to your event. Is there a format for this, Brent or Brian? I mean, how do you do this?
It kind of varies. I mean, there is kind of a rough structure. I mean, it starts at a certain time. You show up, have a meet and greet, discuss. There's a time that evening where you form up teams, as Brian was saying. If you come there alone and you just network with some people, you can form up your team, decide what you want to do, then pretty much you just start programming. And
Brian, is that what you did?
See what you can do in 48 hours.
That's what I'm planning on doing. the Global Game Jam website has a proposed schedule for you to follow. How closely you follow it is, of course, up to each location.
Okay.
But that's what I'm planning on doing, is bring them in, get them started, and get out of their way.
Now, Brent, you said you're gonna go to the one in Denver, but you're not gonna plan on staying up 48 hours. So what are you gonna do there? What's gonna be your role?
Basically, I'm going to show up. I'm not going to show up there on the Friday. I'm going to come out on the Saturday morning. So, like, I'm going to show up pretty much, hopefully, after these people have actually got some sleep in the morning. Just basically see what they're doing and see, I'm going to hopefully some people are going to be using Corona. I'm going to be working with the coordinator there too. He's going to help me promote it in advance. So the night before, on the Friday, he's going to tell people, all right, we've got Corona available to you as a tool. Here's what it's all about. Here's what you can do with it. And then the next day, I'm going to show up. Whoever's using Corona, I'm going to help them with their thing. If they need questions answered, I'll say, here's how you do it. Try to help them with whatever it is, physics, sprite, animation, sound, whatever I can do to help them make their game. Basically, just talk to other people about Corona. So, if they're using another platform and they're welcome to use whatever they want, just chat with them. Say, yeah, have you ever considered Corona? Here's what it does. Cross-platform development. Over 500 APIs, etc.
Do you think we could get a forum area for Global Game Jam participants so that they could post their questions to a specific area, and those of us that are out there that can help support that, maybe it could be done through the Corona website that way?
Yeah, let me check into that. That's a good idea. So it's about 2 weeks off from now, I think. If today's the 14th, so we're getting pretty close.
Yeah,
because it sounds extremely interesting, but I know there's a lot of questions around it. And the global, we'll link to the Global Game Jam website because they have a lot of resources and things there. They list all the events and there were coordinators and things like that. But it would help, I think, just to kind of direct people for those, because I know the forums are really active. And you guys need something else to do, so yeah, it would be cool to have a.
yeah, we sure do, right? we're not busy enough.
But yeah, so that's definitely something we could all help out and answer questions on. So let me just get it straight. There's the organizers get to kind of put everything together according to this loose guideline of how an event should go. So are there any prizes? Does anybody win? Or is it just sort of a social gathering and a meeting of the minds, a brain trust?
It's supposed to be the latter. It's just, it's supposed to be just a casual get together. Yeah. It's not like you have judges coming in and, critiquing everything. Although I think some coordinators will have kind of a informal best of show thing, and maybe all the participants will just go around and vote for what they think is cool. Obviously they can't vote for their own, but maybe just tally it up and see who everyone collectively thinks is the best game of the jam. Maybe, and the coordinator can figure that out. They want to give out some informal prizes or something just as a kind of thing, but it's not supposed to be like this, hardcore competition, where you have to freak out. It's not like that. It's supposed to be fun, casual, just show up and program a game and see what you can do.
Global Game Smackdown. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that at the San Francisco one. I'm gonna get video clips of David Rangel just screaming, "In your face! In your face!" Maybe him.
You gotta do it like the Iron Chef thing.
Yeah.
You've got 2 hours left.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get Walter with somebody in the headlock, just noogies, It'll be good. We'll get, that's the spirit. Yeah, that's good. I like it.
We're going down, Sweden.
That's right. That's right. In this corner, exactly. We can do it. It'll be fun. Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. I'm excited about going to the one in San Francisco. It's the first one that I've ever been to. I can't wait to see what comes out of it. I went to a programming contest, and it was more of a contest where they actually picked a winner years ago, and it was really stressful because it was a contest. So leaving it open where it's more just a meeting of the minds and things like that, that sounds like it keeps it fun. So
yeah, and if you even if you're not like a sponsor or anything, I mean, you should check the site, see if there's one in your area, and just go. I mean, you don't have to go for the 48 hours. You can just go to see what other people are doing and just check it out. It's all gamers. It's game oriented, so it's going to be fun. So I encourage you to check on the website, which is globalgamejam.org. Just see if there's a location near you, and just show up. It's casual. But if you want to participate, it's not too late. You can still sign up as an individual and go and program your own game. The more the better. Game Jam is getting better every year. Let's keep it going.
Cool. Well, very cool. Yeah, we'll definitely throw in a link to the show notes for Global Game Jam and get people there and hopefully get them excited. If you don't have anything else going on that weekend, it's certainly a good activity to take on. So let's move on to Corona Paper, because I'm really excited.
All right.
I am super excited about Corona Paper. So Stina, we said this before. I'm going to say it publicly. I want to say it here again. I really love the feel of Corona Paper. It reminds me of the hobby magazines when PCs first came out. I mean, back in the Commodore and even the days when you were building your own computer. I mean, not the way they do them today. I mean, the thing showed up in a box with parts and you soldered them all together. That kind of building your computer. You're
dating yourself, Charles.
I know it. I'm outing myself for sure. So yeah, those original hobby magazines, they had all this code, and you would sit there and you would punch all the code into your computer, which it might be hundreds of lines of code, it may be tens of lines of code, it didn't matter. And after all that, you'd get a dot on the screen, and this dot would chase this dot, around the screen, and you were like, woo! You felt like you had accomplished something for the day, and that's kind of where Corona Paper seems like it's going. Is that what you guys have planned for?
Yeah, well, the good thing about Corona is that you don't have to put in so much code to make stuff work. But we're very inspired by those kinds of magazines, and we kind of want to keep a little bit of that style in Corona Paper.
Now, for anybody who doesn't know, you can go to coronapaper.com. We'll put a link in the show note, but there you can find this. But this is actually put out by Ten Fingers, which is a app studio. Is that pretty much the right characterization of it?
It's an app development studio, yeah.
And you guys do all kind of development work for what? For private companies?
Yeah, mostly we do work for other companies, because doing your own work really doesn't pay off that much.
Okay.
Usually. So we were doing a lot of different stuff, actually. I'm not allowed to talk about all of it, but we have a big project for oh god for it's a school project for children.
Okay.
We're doing an app that involves over 300 educational minigames for children in first, second, and third grade.
Is it going to be all in the same? Is it all going to be in the same app?
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
It's like a substitute for the books instead. So it's all on the iPad, and the kids can play with it and learn math and Swedish and everything.
That's just the way. It's obvious to say. It's kind of, what do they call it? Trite? Is that trite? Or, I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, it's obvious to say, but that seems like that's where everything's going. That's where everything should be. It seems like. So yeah, it's great to hear that you guys are creating those types of apps, because I think education itself is going to change.
Yeah. Well, we're also doing some in-house stuff. It's basically project management systems and stuff like that, though, that we're using ourselves, but we're gonna sell it to other companies that need them and stuff later when we're done with the beta testing and stuff like that. So.
Okay. So you guys are. You've got designers, you've got developers, you've got all this stuff in-house. And they're all working on app stuff. So how did you guys come up to this? Hey, let's start a magazine.
My CEO Andreas, he is an old Commodore 64 programmer, and
yeah,
and he was the guy that had the idea from the start. But well, he's had that idea for a long time, but it's first now that we actually have the economy to be able to do a startup of a magazine. It's kind of a big thing. And we think it's a great and fun way to contribute to the Corona community. And yeah.
So everybody there, though, is I mean, do any of you have a background in print? I mean, or magazine layout or any of that kind of stuff?
No, we don't. We're pretty fresh to say it. We have one guy that we hired for this job. He's a layout artist. Kai is his name, and he's been doing layouts for years. He's been doing stuff for Nintendo Scandinavia. He's been doing stuff for Chrysler and stuff like that. But the rest of us we're totally noobs. To say right out.
Well, I can tell that somebody there has some layout experience, because it's one of those things where, you know, I can make something look pretty. I can leave the house and my clothes match, right? But most of the time, depends. But it seems like there's somebody there in the background who definitely has a design eye, because there are just little things that kind of come together. You know, the choice of icons, or the choice of some art, some level of art direction is there, and but which makes it nice. You know, gives it a good feel, and it seems to bring everything together. You know, there's a continuity. It's a consistent story across the whole magazine. But then you fill that in with all the content, and that's where that seems like that's where the real meat is and stuff like. So how do you guys divide up who's going to do what as far as content's concerned?
Well, okay. First of all, I'm so old school. I have like notes here on paper, actually.
Oh, that's cool. And I'm totally going out of order. I like started at the bottom of the list and go up. So.
Okay, let's talk about how the magazine is set up. Well, our CEO Andreas, he did the initial choosing. He picked out Jonathan and me as the writers, mainly because we're pretty decent English-speaking people. And also because he thought we would have the chemistry that's needed to like do good articles and stuff like that. Then Kai, the layout artist, was hired just for this project, and we have Linda, which is our project manager. We're basically the core of Corona Paper. And then we have some in-house developers, Emil and Marcus, as technical advisors for the code parts, just to check that all the code is correct and helps us with stuff. And then we have two graphics artists, Verena and Frederick, that does on-demand work for us. But the four last ones usually works on other stuff.
Okay.
Most of the time. So
do you guys just kind of sit around and come up with what you think should be in the magazine, or I mean, you throw darts? What do you?
No, we roam the forums a bit and see what people are interested in and stuff like that, and which threads that has a lot of replies, and see what people are interested in reading about, basically.
Okay.
And then, of course, we have the API news section and reviews and stuff like that, and it's basically new stuff all the time, though. So
I think that comes through. I think that it makes sense that you say that, and I think that really comes through, because in that first issue, there's a whole section on storyboard, and it seems like that is a topic of discussion that people have questions around, and so it just made sense to see that in that first issue.
Yeah, we saw some guy on the forums asking about the director class, and we just told him to
use storyboard.
Use paper. Look at the storyboard tutorial and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, and that seems to be the point of contention. I mean, a lot of people use Director. It was a very popular thing. It was very widely used, and then storyboard came in and was the official part of the API, and so there was some bit of transition, and I know for myself, when I started looking at the tutorials, when I started looking at Corona, it was kind of like, well, most of the tutorials that I saw around there were had Director in them, and but then there was the storyboard thing, and I was like, well, okay, well, I want to certainly use whatever the API supports, and so that I started looking into storyboard and things like that. So I know Brent, you and Rob have been trying to put together tutorials around those types of things, just because of that very issue, to kind of clarify things for people.
Right.
And so look in Corona paper and be able to see that you guys addressed that. That was very cool. I thought that was very cool. And also the other thing was Facebook. It seemed like there was a whole article there on Facebook integration, which can be another tricky thing, just because you're interfacing with a whole nother system that has their own set of rules and things like that. So.
The tutorial we have in the first magazine is just like a basic introduction to Facebook integration. Yeah. But in magazines that are following, we're going to go deeper into the API and try and explain more stuff, both on Facebook and Twitter and all kinds of social media, really. So.
Yeah. Well,
and we're going to be rolling out more of that as ourselves. We're going to have more Facebook guides coming up in the next month or two. Officially on the Corona site. We're going to get more things in there about how to set up Facebook, officially with all the parameters you need to set, because it is really confusing on their side. If anyone has ever tried to do it, there's 8 or 10 expandable boxes with several check boxes and settings in each, and they don't exactly make it clear which one you're supposed to check to do what, and then they change something and it breaks, and then you have to figure out what did you do and what did I. So we're working on that. Look for those coming up, and then more stuff on Twitter, integration, and then ultimately more stuff as just as in Corona paper is going to be more stuff on how to actually do things once you have it set up. How to post to the stream, how to post photos, etc. Use all the tools basically involved. So we're working on that as well on our side.
Great.
Yeah, and I don't think that you can have too much information in this case. Because some people learn visually, some people like to read things, some people like to watch things, hear things. Some people. I personally respond well to like this like Corona paper. I respond to a lot of imagery. Having the graphic design there for the magazine layout and things like that. So it just depends, and I don't think that for me, I was able to go through Corona paper on a plane flight from California to Texas, and so there were a lot of moments there where I was disconnected. I didn't have an internet connection, and so I had the magazine downloaded to my device and was reading it from there. And so that was really cool. So why did you guys choose Joe Mag? How did that come about?
Well, we were looking for a platform that fulfilled our needs. We wanted a multi-platform solution. We wanted a reasonable pricing structure, of course, and we wanted a payment subscription service in like the service itself. We'll probably try and change to another platform, because they're not fulfilling all our needs, but as it is now, we're using UMAG. So
that certainly makes sense. I mean, you guys have already taken on a big bite to produce a magazine, but there's also the distribution and the payment system and the subscriptions and all that kind of stuff that has to be handled by somebody. I mean, that's the reason.
Like it is stuff we could have done ourselves, but we don't really have the time to develop systems that handle subscriptions and stuff like that. So for now we're putting it on someone else. So
Yeah. I tell you, I think that's an honest conversation, because you guys are have put that thing out there, and it's you've got it distributed and stuff like that. But yeah, Joe Mag is probably not premium, and I think you guys probably know that for mobile devices.
Yeah.
I know that, and I say that just to be real, upfront, transparent. I mean, when I was traveling, I could access the Joe Mag website and to get the issue, but then for whatever reason it didn't want to go on my iPad, so I had to download it, and then I had to put it onto my iPad, and then I had to open it up with a different tool to view PDFs.
We're very aware of the limitations, so that's why we're looking for another solution. So we've also been looking into what's it called for the iPad, the service they have.
Like the book stand.
Newsstand.
I'm sorry, I was thinking books, but newsstand. Yeah.
We're looking into that too. So we'll see
And
you
that
might
would
get something there. But
and that would make would make perfect sense because it's got subscription and distribution and all that.
yeah, it's true, but then you lose all the Android people.
Oh,
So you need something
okay,
that's
okay. Wow, oh, good grief, man! Got to make
We're
everybody happy.
cross-platform here. We got to take care of everybody.
Indeed, we do.
Yeah, this is true. Very good point. And I don't know how the best solution to do that with PDF, but and one of the reasons why I bring up the Jomac thing is because, personally, I did have to do a little bit of finagling to get it onto my device. But I would have to say to anybody that that still would not keep me from buying subsequent issues. It's definitely worth it. So just know that up front so that you can make accommodations. If you're gonna travel, go ahead and download it, stick it on the iPad beforehand. Don't think that you're just that website's just gonna work for you. But yeah, I would love to see a really mobile friendly cross-platform version of that.
Yeah.
That would be cool. So okay, so you guys are out there throwing darts. No, you guys are out there looking up topics to put in the issues and things like that. What's in issue 2? What kind of topics do you guys cover in issue 2?
Oh my! Now I have to find a list here. We're almost
I know that.
done
I'm
with
sorry.
issue two,
That question actually. I try to send. See, I try to send questions to participants. That are going to join us, guests and stuff. But sometimes I just think of these things on the fly.
Yeah. No. We're doing a lot of physics stuff.
Okay.
Physics. More physics.
Good, my favorite. I really like physics.
Good.
People probably know that already.
Yeah. I'm also doing a tutorial on some audio stuff. It's not too much about like the programming, but more how you do like sound effects and stuff like that for games. So it doesn't really. It's not totally Corona, but it's still relevant.
Okay.
We do have some articles like that too. That is more basic for all developers, really.
And did I read the bios right? That's one of the things that you like is the audio piece of it.
I'm an educated sound engineer, so I love audio.
Oh, just a little bit then.
Yeah. And the funny thing, Jonathan is a sound engineer too, so we're basically two sound engineers writing.
Well, very cool. And so issue 3, is that top secret? You can't even tell us what that's about.
Well,
You don't know yet.
We're still planning it, but the main theme will be digital art and graphics, basically.
Okay. Yeah. That seems like another topic. And again, you guys have probably done this from your research, but it seems like finding graphics, finding audio, marketing. These are all things that are related to mobile development. Using the Corona SDK and using other platforms as well. But a lot of people think it's just about the code, but you have to code against something, right? You have to move something around on the screen. So
yeah, no, the graphics issue will be more about like creating graphics using code, basically.
Okay.
So,
So vector-based and
yeah, both vector-based and how you do like simple fractals and stuff like that. And
cool.
Okay. Cool. Well, very nice. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That'll be exciting. So coronapaper.com, is that the best place for someone to go?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I would say it is.
Yeah, we'll put a link in the show notes, but definitely go check that out. It's definitely worth a look. I want to take, and I got to talk to you guys later offline about this, but I'd like to take the 20-minute game, build a game in 20-minute article that you did in issue 1, and do a tutorial out of it, like a video tutorial out of it. I think that would be awesome. I love I love those style of quick hitters, where you can get in and get your hands dirty and see how something works. So yeah, we'll talk more about that later. I think that would be a great thing to do. I put you on the spot, so now you got to talk to me about it. Okay, so a few more community type things. We're kind of coming up on the 3 o'clock or the 1 o'clock or whatever, the 1 hour mark, and so we kind of need to move along here. Corona Geek now has a forum thread in the Corona Labs forum. I'll put a link to that in the show notes. But basically, if you have any suggestions for the show, you want to talk to a particular guest, you want to explore a particular topic, or anything that's related to Corona Geek, the show, go over to that forum thread and share your thoughts with me. Because I've said this a couple of times, and I'm going to say it probably a million times more. This is your show. you guys are out there in the trenches doing this stuff, and so we want to talk about the things that most interest you. So you send that feedback, put it in the forums, and let us know, because I want to know that for sure. This week, I've got a few things coming up that I need to be doing. Besides posting today's show, I need to do some app reviews, and I actually owe some app reviews to some people. So I just want to apologize to them right up front, because we had the holidays, and then there was the Geek Corona Labs thing, transition and all that kind of stuff like that. So I'm a little bit behind. But Ian Masters, I want to review Finger Hula, which is a great app out there that where you finger hula, and enough said about that. No, it's really a fun game. I would say works probably best form factor is the iPad. I have an iPad Mini, and I really like playing the game on that. So look for that app review. And then Brad Marcus has sent me some things that are all Android stuff. So I'm gonna have to dust off my Android device here someplace, and use Easy Poker Timer, Texas Hold'em Starting Hand, and the Super Magic 8-Ball. So I have a few from him that I need to review, and I am not a card player, so the whole Easy Poker Timer and all that kind of stuff is going to be, it's going to be interesting, because I don't know how to play poker at all. I have no poker face, and I have no poker skills.
Well, it's never too late to learn. So.
Maybe his app will teach me how to do it. I don't know. I'm hoping so. I don't, half the time I don't even remember how to play solitaire. So it's one of those things that it's a handicap. It's a DNA thing, I think. So that's pretty much it. That's kind of the show for this week. CES was last week, and so if you went to CES, if you saw any cool devices there, if you saw anything that you think is interesting, I would encourage you to go ahead and send that to us, and let's talk about it. Let's talk about it on the show. I would have loved to have gone to CES. Did anybody here go to CES? No? No. Nobody went to CES. Oh. we all say it with a no. Yeah, I would have loved to have gone. I want to go to one of those things just to play with all the gadgets. So, but hopefully we'll get there next year, because I want to go to as many events this year as humanly possible and live blog from every one of them. So, if I haven't said that already, let me know if you're going to an event, because it would be cool to kind of meet up with each other. So some closing thoughts here. Basically, the podcast is transitioning over to the Corona Labs feed. So on coronageek.com, if you're subscribed to the podcast, we're going to try as best as humanly possible to just migrate that over, and you won't have to do anything. Okay? But just know that if you get a duplicate podcast file or some kind of craziness, that we're working on it, and we'll announce it on the show, and I'll tweet it, and I'll Facebook it, and I'll do all those other things. Just know it's kind of in transition. So if there's any weirdness, I apologize ahead of time. I know we have quite a few people who listen to it on their drive time, and so we don't want you guys to miss out. YouTube. So basically, the YouTube channel stays the same. I think there was some discussion as to whether or not we would move the YouTube channel to the Corona Labs website, and we're not going to do that. We're going to leave it on the Corona Geek, and primarily the reason behind that is that you can go anywhere and find Corona Geek. Facebook.com Corona Geek, Twitter.com, YouTube.com. If you put in /Corona Geek on your favorite platform, you're probably going to have a good chance of finding us. And so we wanted to maintain that consistency throughout. So all the social media stay the same, everything there. So if you're following, circled, tweeting, whatever, then that would be good. So here, hold on, somebody jumping in. I bet that's David. You think that's David? Yeah. Let's see if we can get David in here a few seconds before it all goes out. But anyway, so that social media things are all going to stay the same. So don't worry about that. But if you do have any kind of questions or anything like that you want to send out, you can do that through Corona Geek at coronalabs.com, and definitely know that box is monitored. We're going to announce the T-shirt winner before we roll out of here. So Brian, don't let me forget to announce the T-shirt winner. Hey, David, what's going on? Did you got a haircut, man? You got like all of them cut. Can you hear us? We can't hear you. Hit the mute.
You're muted.
Hit the mute button in the right.
There it is.
Hey,
There
David.
it is. Okay, you can hear me now, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I did
Yes.
get a haircut. It's crazy. It's bad.
It's bad. It's not bad. Is bad or bad good? I'm confused.
Bad.
Oh, bad. Well, it's good that you can be here live on video with us today with a bad haircut. Great, thanks.
I do my best.
Immortalized forever. So, hey, tell us about addiction. Right?
Oh, right.
Am I
Yeah, so really quickly, so people may have seen that we announced the partnership with iDiction earlier this week. Basically, iDiction is a company. You know, they don't have a ton of information out there on themselves on the internet, which is actually interesting. But it's mainly because they focus on the apps they work with. I mean, it's not really about them; it's about the apps they work with. And so they have two main things they do. They have a whole set of apps. The main one of which is Apple Day, where they do these sort of like deals, or it's almost like daily deals on apps. So if there's a premium app that usually goes for $1, $2, $3, sometimes more, they work with a developer and they put it on Apple Day for 1 day, and it goes for free. And so then Apple Day highlights it, and it's literally millions of people that use Apple Day on a daily basis. I don't know how many millions it is now, but it's a lot of people. And so it's a way to work with developers to get a ton of downloads on over a span of a day or two, and just get the word out and run a huge marketing campaign. So that's one thing they do. And there they do a mix of working with big developers like Zynga or things like that, but they also work with indies. So that's Apple Day. But then the other thing they do is they do publishing. So they're a publisher of mobile apps. And so for especially for indies, I mean, because obviously big companies like Zynga don't need, they are themselves a publisher. So what iDiction does is they partner with indie developers, and with indie developers that have great apps that they find, and they publish it. And they publish the app. And so the way that relationship usually works, just like any publishing relationship, iDiction will invest a significant amount of money to market the app and get it out there, and then there's a revenue share between iDiction and the developer. So that's what they do. And so we partner with iDiction for a few reasons. One is I've known those guys for a little while. We've known of them as well from before, and they really know what they're doing. They are some of the best out there right now at growing and marketing mobile apps. So that's one. And two, they've worked already with 2 or 3, maybe more by now, but at least 2 or 3 Corona-based apps at different levels. So in Apple Day, as publishing partners, and they've gotten great results. And so we've been talking about how we could help out more of the indie developers in the Corona community around this, and this is one of the ideas that we're executing on, is just partnering with iDiction to find selected developers that they can partner with for marketing and for publishing. Now, they can't work with a million different apps. It's not the way the model works. It's going to be a few over time, but it's something, and so that's why we partner with them, and they've done great work. And you know, we have a place on our website. If you go to coronalabs.com/community/partners, you will see a little paragraph there on iDiction. You can click through. There's a form you can fill out. We encourage any Corona developer that has, if you have an app that you have published already and you might be interested in working with a publisher or doing some marketing campaigns for, and especially if you're a Corona developer that is in the development phase of your app and you still haven't published anything, but you have something you can show, you have screenshots, a prototype, you're also more than welcome to fill out the form, and you know, the iDiction guys will take a look at it. We'll take a look at it. Everything is very confidential. We won't divulge that information in any way, and the iDiction guys may be in touch with you.
Okay.
So that's it at a high level.
Okay. Well, that's a pretty good summary of what they need to do. So we'll definitely put a link to that in the show notes so that people can go find that easily. But it sounds like it's just, you know, again, one more marketing avenue for app developers.
That's right. It's one of the things indie developers can do, right? And working with a publisher isn't the right thing for everyone. There are many indies that just don't want to do it, and that's fine. They want to go it alone, and if you can, that's fantastic. But there's other people that say, well, I'm going to see if I can work with a publisher. They may figure it out. Like I said, there's trade-offs. They will market your app, but obviously there's a revenue share. So it's just one of the models that is out there and that is available to indie developers to market their apps.
Yeah, and there's that's a good point. That's one of the ways, right? There are a lot of different ways to market, and usually, from what I've seen, it's not just one. There's no golden egg. You wind up doing a variety of things, usually in combination and in symphony with each other, to accomplish your goal.
That's right. Yeah, and look, once you go on a specific app, if you work with a publisher, well, I mean, then you're going obviously very much so in that direction. There's no halfway when working with a publisher. There are different types of publishers, and there are different degrees of quality of publishers, and there's many bad stories out there, and there's many publishers that put some effort into it but not a ton, and it doesn't work out all that great, and so that's why indie developers need to be careful. We partner with iDiction because we've seen fantastic results from the apps that they've worked with, both Corona and non-Corona, so we think they really know what they're doing.
Okay, excellent. So yeah, we'll put a link to that in the show notes, and people can go check that out and get more information about it. So thanks for kind of giving us a summary on that.
Thanks for letting me jump in.
Well, no problem. So we're kind of at the end of the show here. I want to announce the T-shirt winner and tell people how they can get their own T-shirt as we go along. But basically, I tweeted earlier that I needed a number between 1 and 17, and somebody came in and gave me 17. I'm sorry, not 1 and 17, 1 and 20, and somebody gave me 17. So Daniel Williams. That's So Panda. That's what he goes by on Twitter. He is our winner for today. So so congratulations there, and we're going to be sending that out. Which is kind of funny because he tweeted that they wanted a T-shirt, and just so happens number 17 was the winner. So if you're interested in giving, if you're interested in giving me a T-shirt, I'll give you my mailing address. If you're interested in getting a T-shirt, then you're going to want to go to coronageek.com/giveaway, and that will actually take you to a form where you can enter for a chance to win. And essentially that is just an information form, asks you a few questions. Most of the information is optional, although we do appreciate it when you fill it all out. And then there's some stuff there for your mailing address and things like that, and we need that just to be able to send you the T-shirt if you win. But that's it. If you follow us on Twitter, you follow us on, or like us on Facebook, or circle us on Google+, then we'll be able to announce you as a winner if you're like a design studio or something like that. So it's a nice little promotion there as well. So I'll be tweeting thatsopanda.com later on and promoting that because he's our T-shirt winner for today, and it's good. I think it's fun. I love T-shirts, and I think it's a great way of supporting the community and also promoting Corona. So there you go. So we'll talk about next week's winner next week, and that's it. I think that's the show for today. Does anybody else have anything they want to talk about? I mean, we're kind of at the end, but if anybody's got a last minute announcement, throw it in. Nope. Going once, going twice. All right. Well, Stan, thank you.
Check Corona Paper.
Yeah, check out Corona Paper. That's our guest for today.
Yes.
That's an awesome resource if we haven't said that already. And Stan, thanks you for being.
Thanks, guys.
Being with us.
Yeah, go to Global Game Jam if you can. Find a venue and go. Just show up.
Yeah.
Or make a game.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're at any of the events, and let us know, and so that we can connect up while we're there. So thanks for listening. Sure. Thanks for supporting the show, and we'll see you next week.